Hello, ma'am. Today I will explain the task that you have given for us as homework 1. So let's start with the task 1. So as you see in task 1, I was required to write a program that displayed total count, average, maximum, minimum, and median of numbers. So the user can add multiple values separated by spaces in single input line. So I wrote the code here, but I would like to show it with the results. I use Google Colab as we have also used in the class. So it's more convenient for me. So before explaining, I just want to start from the bottom because I created 2 lines here. Like numbers equals get nums and show results numbers. This means the program first calls the function get nums. This function is really is responsible for collecting all the numbers the user enters. So it keeps asking for inputs, like allowing multiple numbers in one line, and stops when the user just types exit. Everything the user enters that can be converted into a number, let's say. So when this when the user when get nums is seen, so we will immediately jump back to the function that has the get nums. So first we go to the first def function. So def get nums, it asks the user to enter numbers, like as I have written in the comment too. Like whatever I add, it just asks the user to enter numbers, and whatever the user is going to add, it will store them. And just to store the numbers, of course, valid numbers, I just created this list. A list to store the valid number. So after creating a list that stores the valid inputs that the user is going to add, I created a while true loop. It's an infinite loop. And this creates an infinite loop, meaning the program will keep repeating the same code until we tell it to stop, let's say. So we use this because we want the user to be able to enter as many numbers as they want, as I have written also here in the comments. It will repeatedly ask the user to enter many inputs. Later on, there's no fixed number that we want to stop, let's say. So the loop, I also have created here line, input, enter numbers, exit to stop. So I ask the user to type something I ask the user to type something, enter something like numbers or values. I created this line to whatever the user types gets stored in the variable called line. So if the user types the word exit, that means they don't want to enter more numbers. So as soon as the user writes exit, we will just stop the loop. We will just stop. This program stops accepting any values. And if the user did not type exit, then I will assume that they typed one or more values, right? So the user might type multiple numbers in one line, let's say as an example, user can type 12, 5, 9.5, or let's say a string also hello, and numbers, all kinds of values. Does not depend on the integer, not only we cannot expect the user only type integer. He can or she write multiple numbers in one line. So to handle this, I used a line split. Whatever the user is gonna add, it's which breaks the whole line into individual systems. This line split breaks the whole line into individual systems. like it will look all the values one by one. Like I said, you can add multiple types of values, like hello, ABC 20, 9.7, all that kind of stuff. So it will break the whole line into individual values. So we go them through one by one. Like for n inline split, I just split them. So and then after this loop, I wrote all nums dot append float n. I wrote this because every item the user is gonna type except exit, like it will be identified in this for loop, inside this for loop. If it's not exit, it will be like the values will be identified in this loop. I know that every item the user is gonna type in the program is still a string. Like if the user type 12, it will be in string form 12. So I need to convert this into a number, like using append float n. I use float here because like it allows me to allows me to work with both decimals and whole numbers. Like 12 will become 12.0 and 9.2 will still be 9.2 in float form. So it will make my life like makes me easy to perform mathematical operations. I can use like mistaken English here, I'm sorry. However, if the user enters something that is not a number, like let's say like I can add hello or ABC, it's like string, of course, string, and converting this to flow will be really confusing, like not confusing, like ABC hello, those values will not convert itself to a float. It's impossible. So converting them to float will normally crash the program, so confuse the program. To prevent this situation from happening, I wrote print ignored, because like to prevent that I use this to simply ignore those values to not have my program crashed. And then after that, we are coming to the show results numbers. I will just check if the list of my numbers is empty. I have explained in the beginning about this, so we're gonna be done with the first def function, we will jump here. I'm checking my line, like if my numbers, like if my list that I have created here, like to store my values, is empty, I will just print no numbers entered, like there's nothing to calculate with. So I will, if my line contains values, so I will just sort my numbers, because I was asked to find the median, and to find the median I need to sort them one by one, but in this ascending order, because median will depend on the order of the numbers and the number of the numbers entered by the user. If I have odd numbers, the median will be calculated differently. If it's even, it will be calculated differently. So as I was required to write the total number of numbers and average of them, the maximum of my maximum number among my numbers and minimum of them. So I just check if the numbers that I have entered, their numbers is even. Like if it's even, I will find my median with this equation. We have done this a lot in the class. Like if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, so I have even number of numbers, so I should to find the median, 2 plus 3 divided by 2. Like that's my median. If it's odd, of course, it will be found with this equation. So then I need to just print all the things I have found through the program, and that's it. So in task 2, I was required to write a program that displays how many numbers are even. Like I will enter, like the user can enter specified number of integers, and it will display how many numbers are even, how many are odd. So as in the task 1, I will again explain it through Google Colab. So I have written here, I have created myself 2 lists. Just because the user is gonna enter multiple inputs, I mean not multiple, like I will now come up to that point. I created myself a list that contains odd numbers and the even numbers list. So the user will add the values. So I will just store them. If they're odd, I will store them in that list. If they are even, I will store them in that list. So just to count how many numbers that I've entered are even, how many are odd, I just created myself 2 odd count and even count, 0, 0, because like I just equaled them to 0 to identify how many numbers are even, how many are odd. Just I will explain like +1 +1. This indicates how many numbers are odd and even. So the most important part, like I have created myself temporary value. This temporary value will generally like store my temporary value, like the user's temporary value, before just sending it to the other functions to be processed. So it holds the user's input as temporarily to be processed later. So because the user is adding multiple values, so it will just firstly temporarily hold them, like contain them, before just passing out to the other functions. So total numbers int input. This command, I mean not command, like this line for like basically indicates how many numbers do I want to enter. Like if I wrote 5, the program is going to ask me 5, like just enter 5 numbers, like, and it will just immediately give me the output after 5 numbers. So in that function, I have in that def function inside that, I'm checking basically whether if my value is valid or not. For example, I cannot work with -5. I cannot work with hello bits string form. Like if the value I have entered is how to say, is number. Doesn't matter if it's string or like integer, like if it's number. Like for example, the user can add 12 but in string form. So I am checking, of course it's number, it looks like number 12 but it's in string form, therefore I should convert it to integer form. For example, I have the Python will accept 12 as an string, so I'm just converting this value to an integer to work with. So if the value is converted to integer, so I will return true. But if it is not like a correct kind of value to work with, for example, -1, or string for example, hello, it's not a correct valid integer to work with. Not valid integer, like for example, -5. It's not a valid integer to work with, therefore I will return false. And also inside this process input value function, I am just identifying my numbers. I am working with my values, with my integers. Just because I have created those lines here to store my numbers of, like number of even numbers and number of odd numbers, I have written here global and global, because every time but the user is gonna, as soon as the user is adding inputs to be processed in the program, I need to just change my odd count, because it's not a fixed number. So global values, as I have also learned from the PP1 course, it's always changeable. I mean, writing like this, it's turning how to say, it's local variable. I'm just inside the def function I wrote global, because global functions, global values, they are changing inside the program, so we can update them by writing like this inside the program. I am turning my local variable to global variable to change it, like, because they're always changeable. My numbers, of course, it's not a fix. Like, you cannot say you have 5 numbers that are odd. It's not fixed. So every time I'm writing another input, it's always changing. The number of odd values and number of even number values are always changing. Therefore, I should update their numbers. So if my value, of course, I should firstly, like, if it's a number, I should turn them into the integer type to work with, because we cannot operate mathematical operations with any other value except integer. So we cannot work with strings. So I convert to int value, and I'm checking if my number is even number. By dividing to 2, like, the remainder is 0, it's like an odd even number. So if it's even, I will add my number to even list, which I have created here. So, and later on, if I find out that my number is an even number, so I will add my I found one even value, so I'm adding 1 to change the number of even numbers. So I am just counting how many even numbers I have. So by adding 1, so I am counting how many even numbers I have. If it else, like, else means like my number is not even, so it is odd. So if it's odd, I'm gonna add my number to the odd list which I have created, and I will just put +1. I will add +1 to the count of my odd numbers. So I'm counting how many odd numbers I have. If those things, like, are done, if this number, like, if my value is workable with, I will do this. But if it's not workable, I will add invalid input. For example, like, as I have said, -5, it's not an easy, like, it's not correct value to work with, or if it's string, I cannot work with it. So if it's not, it will print invalid input. So it will ask the user to retry one more input, and it will just process input retry. It will go back to this function. As soon as the user is adding another input variable, it will just jump. It will take this like input to this function to again process. So the number of the loop will exactly that I have written here, because, like, the loop will run exactly total number of times, total numbers of times. So, and each time it asks the user to enter a value, and stores it in the temporary value, and sends it to the process input, like from here to here, sends it to the process input value to be checked and sorted. So, and after I'm going to be done with all of the things, identifying one of my numbers and the count of them. So I am just printing how many odd numbers I have, also printing the same, that odd number, and I will print how many even numbers I have, and it will just print all the even numbers in the single line, separated by spaces. So I have written print here to have one line blank between them for easy formatting. So that's it. So we can just check if it works or not. So, for example, as I have said, total numbers of times int input. Just because of this, I am writing like 5 here. So it is asking me, like, basically 5 times entering inputs. Let's say 12, 10, 45, 979, and one more, let's say, like, no, 5,456. There it is. So it works. Odd numbers counts. I have odd numbers, 45, 29, 79. So I have two odd numbers. It's just like also printing the numbers that are odd, and also three numbers, even numbers, 12, 10, 456. It works. So in task 3, I was required to develop a program that manages my personal account. You have written here methods like add income, description amount, add expense, total expense, account balance, account. Basically, just keep tracking of my personal account. So I know that I will turn those methods into functions to work with. So let's use Google Colab to work with here. So I have equal to my total income amount and total expense amount to 0. Because like later inside the program, I will just define my total amount, total expense by plussing them, by updating their numbers. So it will just, at the end, I will have my total income amount. So just to identify their number, their amount, I just equal them to 0. So later on, I created myself two dictionaries, like income categories and income expense categories. Those are the fields that I have income from, and those are the fields I have expense from. So I have equal them to 0 because to 0.0 because it can also contain coins, not just specific number. For example, 12.45, it's like how to say currency. It's a float type. So therefore, I have created 0, 0, and they're all dictionary forms. So later on, I have created myself functions here to work with, like to make my work easier. Under this add income item category amount, which I have created here, I am calculating my total income. So like I have written here global total income amount. So I want to firstly, let's define this. I want to update the variables that exist outside the function. The global values update themselves. I have created here local variables like total income amount, total expense amount. So by writing global value here, so I am updating the values that exist outside the function, not create new ones inside the function. So the function checks if the category exists. For example, if I do not write anything that is not among those categories. For example, I might add for, let's say, food. Among these categories, food is not existing. Food doesn't exist. So function checks if the category exists. If not, if it switches to different. For example, if I have written something that is not among the categories, it will just say different, like not in that category you have written. So and I will update my amount, like income category amount. Like I will update the amount from the income categories. So basically just I am calculating my income. Therefore I'm adding the to the 0, like how to say, I am adding those income to my income categories. So it adds the amount to both the category and the total income. The same thing also includes for the expense. It's the same mechanism here I have used, like the global values. If my category is not existing in expense, it will say just different. If it exists, so it will just how to say, update the amount, like calculate the amount. It will add the amount to the both category and the total income. So, and after everything is done, it will print successful here. So after I will calculate all of these things here, so I will print my total income here, like print my total income amount, and the same thing here also, total expense amount. Later on I have, like for example, I have expense and income. My total money that is still on my wallet, that is left on my wallet, let's say budget, it's my balance will calculate it with this thing, because like how many income I have, how many money I have spent. So total money which is still left on my wallet will be calculated with this. So later on I am like show account info, like this will basically print everything, print, like this will print everything: total incomes, all income categories, total expenses, all expense categories, balance. It will just basically print everything. So the categories, as I have also mentioned before. So while true loop is the main loop. So by writing user input equals input, which I have written here, like the program asks the user to enter an input. So later on I wrote parts equals user input dot split and this parentheses. Basically, like I am writing this because it checks what the command user had typed in the program. If the user typed like add income dot dot dot, it calls add income item. Like it will just basically I'm writing this because like I split the command from the argument. Let's say it cuts the string into pieces, like it cuts the user string into pieces, individual pieces, whenever it seizes the character this parentheses. Then it returns a list containing the pieces. Like when I wrote add income, for example, 400, I am just splitting them from the command, from the category, and accept them as two different individuals. So yes, that's it. And if my of course, when I create, after creating the list, like in the parts, as I said here, first one contains the command, other is containing the category. Like when I say category, I mean argument. When I say argument, I say category and amount. Parts, first element in the list is add income. If it's add income, so I will just split this parentheses. The second word, the second argument. After I will split this from the list, like from the command. I check like I take the text inside the parentheses, split it again, and then split it with the commas to extract category and the amount. Like basically, and then I will just turn the amount to the float type to work with, because like only that's the like how to say, if the amount is the float type, it's the value type that to work with. So and then I will add the new values to the category and the amount. Like if it will ask the user to add income category amount. So like basically I am checking in this loop, I am checking whether the user typed the like it checks what command the user typed. Basically the same thing also includes here. I am extracting like the command from the arguments to work easily, to accept them to different individuals. And if like my first element is total income, I will show my total income. If if it's not total income, I will just move to elif. If it's total expense, I will show my personal account from the show total expense. And that is the same thing. If the user typed anything except this, not like that is not among these, it will say invalid input. Like for example, it will write total money in, like total money, for example. It's not gonna like give any output because it's not known to the program. So let's check. For example, I might ask how to say, add income. Firstly, like it's difficult to work with one hand. Okay, add income. I'm writing add income. For example, job salary 1,000. Successful. So add, let's say another income from the freelance, like
non-category. I cannot add something else. Successful. Add expense, for example, let's say from the let's say the rent 400. Successful. And then add expense again, for example, from the groceries this time. Groceries 50.75. let's say, like, add flow type. It's successful too. I am writing like total income. Let's say it will just show me total income is this. It's just basically just to calculate itself. Total expense, it's just also have the result here. Account balance, let's say I have found this time. Account balance, like almost 800. And account info, like it's basically just gives me everything, which I have also written in the program in the dictionary form. So all the things at once. Let's add something that is not among my commands, like let's say add income. Let's say books. I have not written books. Let's say 250. It says no, I have not written books here. Like no, I mean different like I'd say add different one. Let's say add money. Let's say, like, it's not the command that you have written in the program for us to write. Books 250. Invalid input. I don't have such command that I have made the program to know, so therefore it gives me invalid input, so it works.
This time in task 4, I am asked to find whether the given string is a mirrored string. So I wrote the program here, so let's move on to the Google Colab to test it. Firstly, I wrote text input, enter a string, so my program firstly needs to ask the user to enter a string. So after I enter a string, I wrote length len text. So this gives me the number of characters in my text, the user's text. So I know later on, I know how to split my string correctly, split my text correctly. I need to just identify whether the first half equals to the second half in reverse form. So I need to compare my parts, like my string, two strings. So if my length, the length of my text is odd number, that means I have the middle character in the text, middle character. So based on the text, according to the task instructions, I need to ignore this, ignore the middle character. So I wrote first half from the beginning to the middle, length divided by 2, and second half I am ignoring the middle character, therefore I add a +1 here from the middle character, from the character which is after the middle character to the end. If it is the even, that means if my work is even simpler. I don't have middle character from the beginning to the middle, from the middle to the end. So later on, if I just I will be done comparing with the first half and the second half there, and first not compare, like I will be done with this if and else statement. I will just check if they are equal, the first half to the reverse form of the second half. So that it will, in that way it will become mirrored string. So if they are equal, it's a mirrored string. If it's not, it will print it's not a mirrored string. So let's check. You see enter string, it says me enter string. Let's say, and then, okay, it is a mirrored string. See, let's write something else, like a mirrored string. So let's something that's not a mirrored string. Let's say this to this. It is not a varied string. This time in task 5, I was required to write a program that prompts a list of full names in the format first, middle, last. So I need to in task 5 this time, I am asked to write a program that says the user to enter a full name. So that has first, middle, last names. And I need to, instead of producing the middle name, I need to only produce the first name of the middle name. And also I have the lots of instructions here, so I will not waste time to read all of them. So let's just test my code. I have already pasted in the Google Colab. In the first line, I wrote input names input. I asked basically this. I wrote this because I'm asking the user to enter a name, full name, that has first, middle, last names. So after the user is gonna type the name, I write words list input names dot split. I wrote this because I need to separately know the words of the full name. I'm separating them, I'm splitting them into names that has the prefix, middle name, and the last name. So I will just analyze them one by one. Those are the prefix lists that you have already provided in the task, and the suffix lists. And I have created myself a list to store my process names. After I will like in this from the below codes, I will process the names and everything, and after I will just analyze all the parts, and I will just store all of the names in my final list and process like it will contain process names of the full name. So I have created myself current prefix, current suffix. It will temporarily store the prefix and the suffixes below. It's a list that stores them temporarily. And basically later on, I am storing them because I have created this because I want to put aside the prefix and the suffix. That's my main approach to the program. I need to just put aside the suffix and the prefixes aside from the middle name. I am focusing on the middle name to identify what word is the middle name, and then I will work on it. Therefore, it's my approach. And later on, I have created a function to join parts into the full name. It's a comment I have also written here. So I have written build full name, final name list. Final name list will store the processed pieces of the name. Processed pieces of the name, it will just store them. So I think it helps me to keep prefix and suffix separate from the main name, as I have mentioned before, while processing the middle name. So for each segment in combined list, if segment final list append join segment. So I have written this. It is for each segment, join segment, this thing converts the list of words into a single string. So after my words are splitted, I have also written here they're already splitted. It will just join all the words into one single line, into one single list, single string, and then I will append them. I will add them to my final name list here, to my final name list here. So final how to say if segment I have written here. This makes sure that empty segments are skipped, like no prefix, no suffix, they are skipped. And then if they're skipped, so I will work on this command, work on this line. If the prefix and the suffixes are skipped, I will add my names into the final name list. And I have used, you may ask, why did you use global variable here? Global final name, it allows the function to update the list defined outside the function. Like it just, the global variable is a very good tool to use for updating. Like it will all the time update itself. Therefore, like final name list will always update itself because I'm analyzing the name. So I will go through by one. So it is a global, it should be a global variable to be changed. So in that two if conditions, I am basically, like, as I have also mentioned as a word, I am mentioning prefixes and the suffixes. Like if words list 0 in prefix list, like this checks if the first word is a prefix. So if my first word is a prefix, so I will store them in the current, like in the current prefix. I will store them. I have said that, I'm storing them temporarily. I'm storing them temporarily to put it aside. So then I should remove this prefix from the words list. Because the reason behind my writing this, is that I don't want my prefix to be mistaken as a first name. The program can understand my prefix as the first word of the full name, so I don't want it to, so it should be unchanged. The prefixes should be unchanged, so it should not be mistaken for the first name of the full name. The program should understand that the prefix is not the first name of the full name. And the same thing also happens for the suffixes. Like if I have junior at the end, the program should not mistaken the junior name as the last name of my full name. And then combined list, like I combine my prefixes word list, for example, like the separated form of my words, not prefixes, not suffixes, but the words of it. For example, Michael Doe Murphy, like and it's just combines my parts for rebuilding the words to, like, not words, rebuilding my full name. And after prefixes and suffixes are done, I will work on the middle name, if I have the middle name. So like if I wrote this for, like, middle name cannot also exist in the user's full name. If I have only two words, if my full name is consisting of two words, like for example, I can say my own name, like Fidan Marjanova. Like it's only two words. I don't have a middle name, so the program will just give you the build full name. I don't have a middle name to even just produce the first letter of the middle name. If I have more than two words in my full name, so like how to say, if there are more than two words, the second word is considered the the middle name. So if for example 3 words in the middle full name, I wrote this middle letters equals list combine list 1 I want to split the letters of the middle name. For example, Michael, I will split them M-I-C-H, etc. Like I will split them to the letters, like one by one. And then like I wrote combine list 1 pop 1. This removes the full name from the main name list. Like removes the full name. Like I want to remove the full name from my list, from my main name list. I don't want, because I should not produce the middle name. Combined list 1, insert 1 middle letter 0. So I will insert only 1 letter, and it will be the middle, the first letter of the middle name, which also program is demanding from me, and then like dot, like for example M dot. Or if I have 3 names, like Fidan, for example, Fidan Kemal Marjanova, like K dot, like it should always have the dot at the end. So later on I have defined all the things, my middle name, everything, the prefixes, suffixes, so the program understands. So I wrote build full name. So I will just print the full name. Let's test, for example, like same in the example in the task with Michael Doe, for example, Murphy. See, like the first letter D is printed. Let's ask another. For example, Dr. Alice Smith. No, Smith Fidan, for example. See, like S is a middle name. It's the prefix. It's the first name. It's the middle name, which is first name is produced, and then my name. Let's ask another. For example, only two names: Fidan, Majnunova. So it remains unchanged because I don't have a middle name. So it works for any case.